What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Dateable, a show all about modern dating. Welcome to another bonus episode. We are in the off season as we ramp up for season 13. But in the meantime, we're still bringing you content, awesome content as always. And we appreciate you listening even during the off season. It's been, I'll confess, I am a little hungover. Julie, in case you didn't notice, we've been talking for like an hour before this, and I was trying to be normal.
You didn't seem hungover at all. You're like, I'm gonna let it out now that we're recording.
I'm gonna have some mental brain farts, just so you know, because I'm so not used to drinking, but now when I drink, I forget my limit. Like I forget when I should stop, and the night just kind of blends in together, and before you know it, I'm on my couch again, sleeping.
Well, if anyone's coming in now, we are recording this before 4th of July, but this episode will air right after. So hope you all had a happy 4th in advance to our American listeners. But sounds like you kicked off your long weekend early, Yue. What were you up to?
Yeah, I was just hanging out with some friends, and it started out as like, hey, do you want to just go out for a drink? Just want to get out of the house. And then a drink turned into maybe 8.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I've definitely encountered that recently too. Like I was just like at a friend's house and we're like somehow went on to like wine bottle number 3 and we're like, that was a mistake.
Oh my gosh. You don't know because you're just talking, you're chatting, you're having a good time. And then you want to fuel that conversation with a little, happy juice.
Yep, and as you like get into it, it's like in the moment it feels great, and then the next day you're like, ugh, why did I do that?
Why did I do? That's how I felt this morning.
Yeah, we're both like that opening that third bottle was completely unnecessary. Completely.
Always do a playback to the moment that you should have said no, right?
Even 2 bottles for 2 people is unnecessary.
It's a lot.
But 3 bottles is totally unnecessary. Don't know our limits even as we're approaching 40 or in our 40s.
How is that happening? I kept thinking I got this shit down, right? I do like 1 sip and then 1 sip of water. That's what I've been doing. But by the end of the night, because I was drinking tequila, I didn't know what was my water, what was my actual drink. So I was just drinking whatever was clear liquid in front of me, which is probably mostly tequila.
Kind of miss those days when I can think of a few memories that we had that were some of those days. The chicken hunt is coming to mind.
The chicken hunt. I was just telling someone about that the other day. Telling them how San Francisco it was, it's like
San Francisco loves to dress up. For all our listeners, I will share this story briefly and then we'll get into the bulk of it. But we did this chicken hunt and I forget how this...
Wait, was it chicken run or catch... Wait.
No, it was like the chick... So someone dressed up as a chicken, which was the whole point of this. It was like a chicken suit that someone had to wear. And they basically went to a bar and the rest of us stayed back. And we didn't know what bar they went to. So we had to find them, remember? And then the first team that found them got... because you had to pay... Everyone had to put money into the pool. And the chicken was drinking by themselves. And then whatever team found them first, got the remaining money of the pool and got to drink for free off of that. That was the prize.
I personally, so my memory of this, of being so quintessential San Francisco, because our friend Melissa was adamant that she was the chicken.
Oh my God.
She wanted to wear the chicken costume and she was adamant about drinking alone for a long time before people found her. And I was like, only in San Francisco would someone be like, hey, I want to be the one in the chicken costume drinking alone at a bar.
There were so many good moments of this. I remember Melissa, now thinking about it, our other friend, their trainer saw the chicken in the window of the bar and they knew they were doing this. So they somehow tipped them off and they ended up finding the chicken first. So there was that piece. But what stands out to me the most was what happened post-chicken hunt.
Post-chicken hunt.
Anyway, I just remember you were really fucked up. I was like, I've never seen you this fucked up in my life. But we all went. Okay, so Melissa was wearing the chicken suit.
She did not want to take it off.
Also, I just want to set the scene that it was, 5 p.m.? It was really early.
It was pretty early. Yes.
Maybe it was even earlier. And Yue's friend had a party that he
Friend's
was
friend.
Right,
We didn't even know these people.
Right. He's like, we should go to this party. It's going to be really great, whatever. And we're like, cool, we're on board. We're already out, right? Like, we're like ready to go. We went to this party. There was no one there except for the couple that was hosting it and us. It was like 5 of us and the chicken, like that come from the chicken hunt. And I just remember she had a spread. Like this was like a formal dinner party. And we were all super fucked up, just like chowing down on her food. But she was so happy we were there because no one else showed up. It was
let's just paint the scene of when we entered, because we thought we were going to some house party where there'd be like beer pong and red cups. Okay, we were like, we were dirty. We were sweaty. I mean, Melissa was extra sweaty.
It might have been later. No, it was like 5 actually. Yes.
No, it was like 5 or 6. Yes, I remember because the sun was still out. And she opens the door. First of all, we didn't know who they were. These were friends of friends. Mm-hmm. And they live in this like luxury building in Soma in San Francisco. And I felt like it was like double doors or something. It was the doors open and they live in this immaculate, beautiful apartment that had like white furniture and like views for miles. And the couple was like dressed all nice in like
in like formal wear. Yes.
And we show up looking like we're homeless people, bring a chicken with us and eating their food. We were like, what are we doing here?
It was such a scene from a movie, but she was super excited to have us. Nice. She was really nice. But I also remember as a cherry on top, there was this guy. This like brings it back to dating too. There was this guy that I had like met on a dating app like years ago. And it was like one of those things that like he totally ghosted me, basically. Like he like in the moment, I mean, it definitely progressed. We have like, there was a lot that happened that night. But I remember...
Julie, where are you going? And where are you not going with this story?
Okay, so basically this, like, it was one of those moments that I thought, like, there was something here. Like, he was, like, promising the world to me that night.
Okay, there we go.
And then he, like, totally ghosted me. This was years ago. Like, probably, like, I don't know.
Before my time.
Before your time, by far. But then there had been a few instances where I had run into him. Yeah. And there was, like, a recent one that he was like then trying to get with me, and I was like, I'm not into this because you had ghosted me. And we had like rehashed this whole thing like not that long ago. And then the chicken hunt happened like maybe like a month after that, or maybe it was like 2 weeks after. It was like really soon. And I remember as we're walking to this party, I see him on the street with a pizza box because it was like 5 p.m. and he was like eating dinner. And I remember him just being like, Julie, is that you? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, good times.
It's always when you want to run it, like whenever you're like, I don't want to run into this person, and then you see them like in a chicken suit. I mean, granted, I wasn't in the chicken suit, but I was with the chicken suit, so guilty by association.
That picture, group photo we took at the bar, the final bar, came up as a Facebook memory for me the other day, and I couldn't name anybody in the photo.
Oh,
except
really?
For you.
Oh, like the big one? No, some of our friends were in there.
Some. I couldn't name all the people.
No.
But I remember their faces, and it was just such a good time. We were fucked up and we had a great time. That's all I remember.
I do still have the photo. It's with you and then 2 of our friends that I'm still close with. Yes. That's on my mantle now. Oh, I look at that chicken photo all the time.
Well, we're on her mantle. You hear that? We're on Julie's mantle.
I know. It's only reserved for the best. Only reserved for the best.
Memories. Yes. We'll keep sharing all of our memories of us being fucked up. But that was definitely like top of the list, Julie. For sure.
I think, though, it's an interesting segue to this. I'm going to segue it to this week's
episode. I'm observing. I will observe this happen.
I feel like, I don't know about you, but lately, last weekend especially, I went out and it felt like old times again. Like, it was so crowded everywhere. No one's wearing masks. Like, it's literally feels like it's returned to 2019. And it was so jarring to me. I was like, I miss pandemic going out. Because I actually really liked going to, like, outdoor bars or restaurants. Or even when it turned indoor, but you had to, like, get a table with your group. Like, they wouldn't let people just roam around.
Yeah.
And it was so overwhelming. Everything had to wait in line. We had to wait in lines.
Yeah, because it's so crowded now. Yep.
And it relates to this episode because we're talking about what do we want to preserve from pre-pandemic dating into a post-pandemic world. And there are certain things even in my social life that I would like to preserve from the pandemic time. Again, not saying that the pandemic was a good time for anyone, but it did let at least me take a step back and be like, what actually is important to me? And there's some activities I used to do that I just don't desire to do anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I felt that last week because it was the first time I went into a restaurant without a mask on and they said, it's fine. And I was like, are you sure it's fine? And it proved something to me where I felt like I've created a lot of distance with people, just human beings in general during the pandemic that now I need to lessen that distance a little bit more. So what I'm preserving is the one-on-one quality time I've spent with people during the pandemic.
Yes.
Something I would like to gain back is the openness for new people and meeting strangers, which is a skill that I completely forgotten. But with a little liquid courage, I think I could get there. But that's something I really want to work on.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel that. I know a lot of people feel like that, so you're not in the minority. I think a lot of people are like, how do I regain social skills? I feel like I haven't seen, we've talked about FODA, fear of dating again. I think that's a big piece of it, is to get back out there and date the way that you once did. I don't know. I was like watching this video. I think it was just on Instagram or someone put up a post.
Not TikTok?
No, it was just like someone's
Everything
real
okay?
I know. Everything's okay over here. Don't worry. But you know how, like, I always thought, like, would we ever get back to a world where people are blowing out candles, like, on cakes? And people were just, like, doing stuff like there was no thing. It just feels like we've all forgotten the last year and are just moving right back into life. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm fully there yet, but I don't feel the social side. I don't feel, but I don't feel like I want to be like squished in with like a bunch of randoms at bars or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't miss the crowds at all. But I do. Yeah, that's a really good point. It's like leaving a relationship and then getting into the same relationship.
Yeah.
And you kind of forgot what you learned from that previous relationship. And I think sometimes we just need to check back in with ourselves. That's what I'm learning to do. It's like, it's okay to set boundaries and to be uncomfortable in this transitional moment. And sometimes I just have to say no to things, right? And just like let people know I'm not exactly comfortable with that yet as I transition. I may never be comfortable with how things were.
Yeah, I think some of it's old age for me too, because I think I was feeling.
Yeah, is that right? Old age, having dinner at 5:30.
Hey, that is pandemic life. But I think I don't know. I think I was getting over that scene even before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was like out actually after my 5:30 p.m. dinner last week, bringing it full circle because we were done by 8 o'clock because they had to clear the new
for
table.
the next seating. Yeah.
By the way, that restaurant was really amazing. It was totally
great.
worth like the 5:30 seating. But it was a very cool experience. But we went to bars after and went to 2 bars before we went to the third. And the third, we were like, we just want somewhere that we can sit and not be near people. And eventually we found it. And it honestly probably is somewhere I would have gone post-pandemic too because of stage of life. But I think it's that. It's like going back to maybe some stuff and being like, this isn't for me anymore. And I'll find something that still works. Yeah.
I've also been going out with some of my single friends who are excited to date again, but they haven't pulled the trigger in terms of...
So they have FOTA.
They have FOTA, yes. Because they want to be, and I think my friend said this the best. She said, I just want to do it right this time, so I want to be really intentional about it. So before she reinstalls the apps and starts swiping again, she was like, I need to find a purpose for all of this. I need to be dating more mindfully this time. So she has this plan. She's like, once I have established what I'm looking for and I can be completely intentional about it, then I will reinstall the apps and get back into the scene. So I feel like a few of my single friends are in that stage, and I would be curious to hear from our listeners if that's where you are too. You have FOTA, but you also have a plan. Like you're slowly getting back into it, baby steps, but you do have a plan for re-entry.
I actually think that directly relates to FOTA, because I think a lot of times over the pandemic, people have done a lot of self-work. And so maybe some people are doing that currently, which sounds like your friend might be in that stage. But I think there's other people that have taken that time and have been single during the pandemic and really digging deep on what they want. And sometimes dating, when I've experienced this, sometimes dating when you're like, I know exactly what I'm looking for, is almost the scariest, because your expectations are so high. There's almost like no room for failure because you've done all this work yourself.
Yeah.
And I think it's like this perfectionist attitude. And I totally get that, because I think I've totally been there. But maybe it's cutting yourself a break too. It's like understanding that self-work isn't just done in a short period of time. It's kind of indefinite. And there may be times that, let's say you're like, I'm never going to let someone like ghost me again. You can't control other people. It's just how you react to it. So even if you've done all the self-work, you still are going to get ghosted. Like, there's nothing that's controlling that. It's how you react to it and how you move on from it and find someone that won't do that for you. So I think it's understandable to be scared to re-enter if you feel like all the cards are like, kind of like all the pressure's on, maybe, to like use what you've done. But I think also like give yourself some grace that even if you've learned all this stuff, like life just happens, and it's, again, how you deal with it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Sometimes we can be so in our head that all you're doing is thinking and you're not doing. And if you're not doing, you can't see results from just thinking. So you have to find that balance, but also listen to yourself. Like, where am I? Check in and feel it out. Sometimes your body tells you way more information than your little brain can. Little meaning not like you guys have little brains, but like, endearing. Your little brain. That's all I meant.
Thank you for explaining that. A lot of people are like, what the fuck?
Your big ass brain. Okay.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. Another good plug in for our episode is Kimmy Seltzer. She's been a long-standing friend of Dateable. FOD, is that our acronym?
The FOD? She's a FOD.
She's a FOD. She's up there with Logan Yuri, that we've had her multiple times.
Yes.
And she actually did one of our Dateable live after show events that's part of the sounding board. But we were super excited to do this Amazon live with her, which is what this episode is going to be replaying. And that's where we dove into what was good about dating in the pandemic, what was not so good, and then where do we go from here? And I think it's especially relatable, and it was such a great conversation. We always love talking with Kimmy, but there were so many good tidbits in there that we're like, we need to repurpose this as an episode. Absolutely.
Kimmy is a hoot. I love her. She's full of personality and also just full of knowledge. She has been a dating coach and an image consultant for years, and her clients are very diverse. They run the gamut. So she shares a lot of her own personal wisdom and observations with...
And therapist.
And therapist. That's right. I keep forgetting.
She's like the trifecta.
She really is. She does it all. And her nuggets of knowledge and information and data is just like, she just keeps dropping those knowledge bombs.
Yep. Plus, we have a really good dynamic, the three of us, which is always super
plus, she's
fun.
just so fun.
She is super fun.